Welcome to Useful Words. Hi, my name is Leroy Glover, and on this channel, we're going to explore useful words. In this video, we're going to share the law of perspective, how to create a better reality. The way that you are viewed by your customers determines your income. Tracy. You probably heard of the saying, perception is reality. In other words, how we see things is often how they become. Our perception shapes our reality. And while that might sound like a scary concept at first, it's actually not. We can use the law of perspective to our advantage. The law of perspective states that our perception are based on our individual perspectives. In other words, how we see things is based on our unique set of beliefs, values, and experiences. And while that might sound like a bad thing at first, it actually isn't. You probably heard of the saying, perception is reality. What this means is that how we see things is how they really are. At least to us. This is why two people can experience the same event, but have very different perceptions of what happened. One person might see it as positive and exciting, while the other might see it as negative and frightening. This phenomenon is called the law of perspective. And while it may seem like a bad thing, after all, how can we trust our own perceptions if they can be easily screwed? There's actually a lot of power in this law, because how we perceive something determines how we react to it, which in turn shapes our reality. If we want to create a better reality for ourselves, all we have to do is change our perspective. When we change how we see things, we change how things are. It's that simple. We all have our unique perspectives on life, shaped by our own individual experiences, beliefs, and values. This perspective can be a powerful force, influencing the way we see the world and the choices we make. But what if our perspectives is based on false assumptions or limited information? In such cases, our perspective can actually become a hindrance, preventing us from achieving our goals or reaching our full potential. The good news is that we have the power to change our perspective. By intentionally seeking out new experiences and viewpoints, we could open our minds and expand our horizons. The law of perspective can help you create a better reality. In other words, what we believe is what we will see. So if you want to create a better reality, we need to start by changing our beliefs. We can do this by consciously choosing to focus on the positive instead of the negative. When we do this, we'll begin to see more opportunities and possibilities in our lives. We'll also start attracting more positive people and experiences into our lives. How we see the world affects our experience of it. If we want to create a better reality, we need to start by changing our perspective. There are many ways to do this, but one simple place to start is by practicing gratitude. When we focus on what we're thankful for, we naturally start to see the world in a more positive light. From this place of gratitude, it's easy to take constructive action and make positive changes. You've probably heard of the law of attraction, but have you heard of the law of perspective? It's just as powerful, and it can help you create a better reality. Our reality is created by our perspective. In other words, how we see things determines what we experience. So if you're unhappy with your current reality, it's time to change your perspective. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, start looking for what's right. Look for the beauty in every moment and be grateful for what you have. When you start seeing the world through rose-colored glasses, you'll be amazed at how quickly your reality changes for the better. How perspective affects reality. Our perspective is everything. It's how we see the world and how we choose to interpret what we see. And while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we react to it and what we focus on. If we want to create a better reality for ourselves, we need to start by changing our perspective. One of the most interesting things about human beings is that our perspective affects reality. What we believe to be true shapes how we act and react to the world around us. If we believe people are inherently good, we'll more likely be trusting and open with others. However, if we believe that people are untrustworthy, we are likely to build walls and keep our guard up. Our perspective can also affect our physical realities. If we believe that we are capable and strong, we are more likely to push ourselves physically and achieve our goals. However, if we believe that we are weak and powerless, we are likely to stay in our comfort zone and miss out on opportunities. Our perspective shapes the way we see the world and everything in it. Every decision we make, every action we take is filtered through our own individual lens. This is not to say that our perspective is always wrong or that it cannot be changed. But it is important to recognize that our perspective is always shaping our reality. If we're not aware of how our perspective is affecting us, we may make choices that are not in line with our true desire or values. Our perspective can also affect the way we interact with the world around us. For example, if we believe that people are generally good, we may be more likely to trust others and be more open to new experiences. On the other hand, if we think that the world is a dangerous place, we may be more likely to build walls and protect ourselves from potential harm. The takeaway is that our perspective matters because it shapes the way we see the world and how we choose to engage in it. Although our perspective may be biased, it is also fluid. With effort and intention, we can learn to see the world in new ways. As we do, our reality will begin to shift to match our changed perspective. How to get past your current limitations with the law of perspective. The law of perspective is simple. The further you're away from something, the smaller it appears. This is why mountains seem so big when you stand at their base, but they look much smaller when you're looking down at them from an airplane. The law of perspective can also be applied to your current limitations. When you're up close and personal with your problems, they can seem insurmountable. But when you step back and take a bird's eye view, you often find that they aren't nearly as bad as they seem. In life, it's inevitable that we will face challenges and limitations. Whether it's a difficult project at work, a relationship issue, or simply not knowing how to do something, we all have moments when we feel stuck. However, it's important to remember that these challenges are often just a matter of perspective. If we can learn how to see our limitations in a different light, we may find that they are not as insurmountable as they seem. One way to do this is by the law of perspective. The way we perceive something is often more important than the thing itself. In other words, it's not necessarily the challenge that's holding us back, but how we choose to see it. If we could learn how to view our limitations as opportunity for growth and learning, we may find that they no longer feel so daunting. By changing our perspective, we can change our experience of life and open ourselves up to new possibilities. Every day we are faced with a choice to see the world through positive or negative lenses. It's human nature to focus on the negative, to dwell on our mistakes and regrets, and to compare ourselves unfavorably to others. But if we want to create a better reality for ourselves, we need to learn how to change our perspective. When we focus on the positive, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We start to see the world as a place full of opportunities instead of a place full of threats. We become more confident and optimistic, and we are more likely to take risks and seize opportunities. As a result, we are more likely to achieve our goals and create the life that we want for ourselves. How to create a better reality for yourself by changing your perspective. By definition, your reality is the world that you experience. And while you can't control everything in your environment, you can control how you react to it and what you focus on. So if you're not happy with your current reality, change your perspective. It's easy to get caught up in what's wrong in our lives and to dwell on negative experiences from the past. But if you want to create a better reality for yourself, it's important to focus on the good. Every day we're faced with a choice. Do we see the glass as half empty or half full? This simple question can have a profound impact on our lives because our perspective shapes our reality. Just as a flower needs sunlight to grow, we need positivity to thrive. A negative outlook will hold us back, while a positive perspective gives us the strength to face challenges and overcome obstacles. If you want to create a better reality for yourself, start by changing your perspective. Life is full of hardships, but it is also full of blessings. When you make an effort to see the positive in every situation, you'll be amazed at how your reality starts to change. You'll find that you're more optimistic and open to new experiences. And as your reality changes, so will your circumstances. So if you want to create a better life for yourself, start by changing your perspective. We all need positivity to thrive. We've heard it a million times before, but it's true. If we want to be happy and successful, we need to focus on the positive things in our lives. We need to change our perspective and see the glass half full instead of half empty. We need to find the silver lining in every cloud. We need to train our brains to see the world in a more positive light. It starts with baby steps. Every time you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, turn it into a positive one. If you're feeling down about your job, remind yourself how lucky you are to have a job at all. If you're worried about your future, focus on the present moment and what you can do to make your future better. It might take some time, but eventually you'll start seeing the world in a whole new light. And when you do, you'll be amazed at how much better your life can be. I'm Leroy Glover, and I thank you.